Hi, this is Larry Bauer, Chief Executive Officer of the Family Medicine Education Consortium, and I'm very excited to be talking with Dr. Barry Kerzin today. He's a visiting professor at the University of Washington and an honorary professor at the University of Hong Kong. Dr. Kerzin, welcome.
Thank you very much, Larry.
So I understand that you like to offer retreats for healthcare executives. I'm fascinated with that. Could you speak to that and let folks know what you have in mind?
Sure. This is something it's becoming very, very popular and very much in demand. Leaders, executives in healthcare and in other fields, business fields, professional athletes, even now we're getting some interest among politicians who have to make big decisions in their life. They have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. They want to be able to make good decisions. And people are beginning to recognize that through working with the mind, training the mind, there can be less clutter in the mind. There can be more perspective in the mind, and hence there can be much better decision making. And so I think this is one of the main reasons why executives are often turning to meditation and compassion retreats to kind of clear the boards, to get the mind more clear, to get the mind more open, and to be able to make better decisions. Secondly, through practices of meditation, mindfulness, compassion, one finds more passion in one's life. And with passion comes enthusiasm. With enthusiasm comes success. And so I think this is another reason why many people in the leadership roles are turning to meditation retreats. And thirdly, we often feel drained. Burnout is a major issue in the healthcare field among administrators, executives, doctors, nurses, etc. And so people are looking at this issue very seriously and want to try to prevent burnout, or for people that are on the path, in the burnout path, want to try to reverse that. And so that's another really big reason for people turning to meditation, mindfulness, and compassion retreats.
Can you describe for us what happens during the retreats?
Yes. Typically, I'm not a real hard guy, so it's not one of these things where you're in total silence and you're sitting for many hours a day in meditation in pain. That's not the kind of retreat I lead, particularly for executives. It's something that it's meant to have fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. It's meant to foster communication among each other. We do some meditation. They're generally for short periods of time. And we introduce many different types of meditation, often for about 15 or 20 minutes. We include some walking meditation for all the fidgety people out there who can't sit still. They really enjoy the walking meditation. We also include a lot of time for discussion. Sometimes we have breakout groups, and we come back to the big group on a particular issue that we're talking about. We also have a lot of teaching that comes from me about, how to train our minds to be more clear and calm and to facilitate better decision making. We also have a fair amount of teaching about enhancing compassion, anger management, working with reducing jealousy, pride, greed, and selfishness. So these are some of the parameters that we cover in a several-day executive healthcare retreat.
Can you speak to the impact of the retreat experience on those who attend and their health?
I'm sorry, please.
The impact on those who attend and their respective healthcare systems.
Yes. We tend to get incredible feedback. Now the people that don't like it probably don't give us feedback, so we can't say that's 100%, but people generally really like these retreats, and we can see that in the retreat. We can see people change over the first, second, third day in terms of smiling more and just being more engaged and just, looking like it's much more worthwhile for them. People go home to their healthcare communities and their systems with a renewed sense of enthusiasm, of a positive kind of approach to all this, sense of optimism, which is often lacking. People often come in with a sense of sarcasm and cynicism. And, you know, I'm not saying they change overnight, but they do get flavors of optimism, of seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, of ways to move forward, to engage their system, their healthcare community. And so these have been very, very positive. People often want to come back then after a few months or 6 months to do a refresher, to do another one of these retreats, and that also tells us that it's been a good experience for people.
You've created something called the Altruism in Medicine Institute. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. This is a nonprofit organization. It was formed about 2.5 years ago. It has a 501c3 for tax deductible charitable donations. We are currently physically based in Phoenix. We're operative. We operate all around the United States. I just was at University of Louisville School of Medicine working there, and we're going to do a lot more work together. They've become a partner with us, as had Stanford University Medical School, as has the Said Business School at Oxford, University of Oxford, and as had many, many other academic institutions and hospitals. So we are branching out. We're trying to collaborate and work with a lot of other institutions to scale up our work. Our purpose is to bring more compassion into healthcare, and we're working primarily with medical and other healthcare students, nurses, dentists, etc. We're also working in hospitals. We're also working with healthcare executives to try to improve the dialogue in all these different communities and with the communities, between and within, and to foster more respect. And through respect comes trust, and through trust comes more meaningful engagement. And that's kind of what we're all about, to foster these things. We are active in many communities. Recently, I was appointed as visiting professor at the University of Washington, where I used to teach several decades ago. So I'm going back there, and this is through the Altruism in Medicine Institute to kind of promote these things among students at the University of Washington.
So can you give us any examples, perhaps even if it's anecdotal, of the impact, the change? You must have gotten feedback from some who've gone through the training.
Sure. I'll give you one example from Japan. I teach regularly in adolescent prisons there, and some of the feedback from one of the young prisoners was that she just took to this stuff like a duck out of water and got out a little bit early on good behavior. She got into a good university to study, and she seems to have really turned her life around. I'm sure we were not the only influence, but I also am pretty sure that we were a major influence in that turnaround in her life. In terms of the medical community, I've spoken to many medical students that I've been teaching who feel that compassion is the way to go. They now understand the good research that shows that after the 3rd year, that, you know, compassion, which was the motivation to bring most of us into medical school in the first place, by the 3rd year, it's snuffed out. And so they understand that research, and so they're trying very hard to use the techniques that we teach to buffer against that, you know, compassion being snuffed out, at least to keep it alive on the back burner while they go to the wards in their 3rd year and struggle quite a bit. And then by the 4th year, when things are looking up again, they can bring that compassion stuff back into their medical practice.
That's wonderful. So, Dr. Kerzin, is there anything else that you'd like the audience to know about you, about your work with His Holiness the Dalai Lama or beyond?
Yes. Working with His Holiness the Dalai Lama is an incredible privilege. I feel so much gratitude for that. I continually pinch myself. I can't believe it. I think I'm dreaming, because he is somebody that's obviously human, but has many qualities that go way beyond at least the human beings that I know in terms of strength, coming from compassion and wisdom and humor. He has the incredible sense of humor. So that's such a joy and such a privilege to have that. So I think for doctors that are not going to have that experience, and of course most of us are not going to have that experience, but to still find gratitude in what we do. And I think that partially comes from being able to forgive ourselves, to forgive others. I think that helps us get rid of a lot of the wounds and the hurts we have, and allows us to feel and express gratitude. Just a last word about Altruism in Medicine Institute. I would love it if for people that are listening to this and people that engage with us in the fall in Pittsburgh, if they're interested in kind of working with us or finding out more about Altruism in Medicine Institute, please, come and contact us. Come to our website, www.altruismmedicine, that's a double M, one word, .org. Also, come to my Facebook site, which is just my name, Barry Kerzin, BARYKERZIN. It's a public figure site, and a lot of the things we're talking about today and we'll talk about in the fall in Pittsburgh are addressed. Every 2 days I put up a new post on that Facebook site, and I answer messages on that site.
Wonderful. Thank you.
We would also love it if people that are interested in supporting our efforts, we have a donation page, and please join up as a member, and in that way you can help support financially. You can also help support in terms of your labor of love and things that you want to do, and collaborate with us. We're open and willing and would love to work with all of you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Kerzin, thank you very much, and I am looking forward to meeting you in person for the first time in Pittsburgh. Thank you very much for talking with us today.
So am I, Larry. Very much looking forward to it. Thank you very much for hosting us.